Welcome to the United Show, and we have a star-packed guest show today. And at the minute, we're waiting for Kieran to come and actually be the host, but I'm going to be taking over for today for lastminute.com. So we've got a lot to talk about, a lot of things going on in the news, a lot of rumours going on, but obviously let's make the most of it and see what we think of all the things. But so first things first, we've got this Rashford news coming out. And it's in the newspapers that he might be going to Spurs. But Man United is shutting it down, saying that he's not going anywhere. Let's first talk about that. But first of all, before I do that, welcome to the show, everybody. I know it's great to see you all on here. And Marcel back again, Alex back, and Garth back, the usual suspects. So, yeah. Let's start with you, Garth. What do you think about this Rashford news? What do you think? What do you make of it? Do you think do you think there's going to be any legs to it or not?
I hope there isn't any legs to it, personally. I still think we need to give Rashford another year to recapture his form. In my mind, at 24, there's still enough time for him to prove that he's the Marcus Rashford that he was a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? He's come back from his injury. He's had a bad season last year, but who didn't have a bad season last year for Man United? You know, I mean, I know his was especially horrific, but that's because he was up here and now he's fallen down here. So I wouldn't want him to leave, especially at 50 mil, which was what I was hearing. I was also seeing 80 mil. 80 mil, that's a little different for me. If someone wants to come and pay 80 mil for him, you've really got to start thinking about it, ain't you? But I wouldn't want to see him leave. I like homegrown players personally, you know what I mean? And he's been an all right servant to us. We've got to give him another year, I feel, personally.
Yeah. Okay. We've got Stretford Sean saying let him go. Let's see. What do you think of this, Marcel? What have you got on this? What's your take on this one?
I agree with Stretford Sean to a degree. I mean, you know, I've got to put him in the same bracket as a Martial in terms of his productivity, what he's given to us. You know, these two players, for me, are not 17 to 25 goals in the Prem consistently. I know there was a season where Martial has reached that, and he got a stretch of games in the forward line, but both of them don't look like they're productive enough for me or got enough creativity in the wide areas. I think they both have not performed for us throughout their tenure at the club. But I think you do have to choose one or the other. You know, I don't think you can get rid of both of them. They're both on extraordinary wages with low amount of trophies. At the end of the day, they haven't really achieved anything in the Premier League. And a lot of players that have achieved things have got trophies and on less wages. So, but if the right price comes in, like Garth said, you know, 70s, 80s, 90 million, you know, with the English tax, then I think you have to take that. He's wearing the number 10 for our club, man, and he just hasn't really performed. Yeah. But I would still give him another chance under Ten Hag. You know, I mean, Ten Hag really can. He's a proper coach, you know, a person that will get the best out of players and teach them new things about the game. So I think, you know, out of the two of them, I would give Rashford the one more season because I feel like he gives you a bit more work rate. He gives you a bit more effort. When he's on form right now, he's been in a dark place. Last season was honestly, Nathan, beyond poor form, if that's a thing. It didn't look like a player that was playing poorly and trying to produce things. His head was down, the body, it was all in the mind, 100%. Yeah. The body language, everything about the player looked nervous. Yeah. So I don't know what was going on, but, you know, a new manager gives you the new opportunity to prove something to that manager. And he'll give every player a new slate. You know, he said it in the press. He wants to give these players a new slate, and he thinks that they can get more out of them. Rashford's one of those players that we want to get something more out of. So I would say no overall, depending on the price.
Okay. We got Stretford Sean saying Rashford needs to concentrate on his football, not outside influence. And Alex, I know that you got his kit somewhere in the background, and he's one of your favourite players as well. There he is. What do you think on this?
I just roll my eyes when people say things like that. I'll just focus on football and I just think, well, what is everyone else doing to help like their communities and feed kids? Isn't that? Well, I mean, not saying every football should. Anyway, that's another subject. Not saying every football should have to give, but when someone does do that, I think that's big up to them. Anyone giving to people is really, really nice in this world. My thing with Rashford is I obviously have nostalgia. I can't remember since maybe, I don't know, the class 92 team where I looked at youth players and was like, wow, and felt like attached and just really was rooting for their success. I didn't feel this way even about Jesse Lingard. I think Rashford, there was just always something about him. I think one of the things for me as well is that when I heard other players talk about him, when I've heard like managers and coaches talk about him and his ability and how he performs, I feel like it's in there, and I think it is all mental. I'm not ready and willing just to throw in the towel yet. And I hate this thing in football where a player has a bad season and we're like, okay, see you later, bye, the door is there. Like, I feel like, especially with him, when he's given us so many amazing moments, I'm not saying we need to like cling on to that because it is results driven, but it's like, for me, I'm willing to give him a season because I think we forget this guy's had 5 different managers, like 6 now. I don't feel like he's had the opportunity to like really work with a great coach that's helped him to progress and like to really be consistent on his journey. So I feel like, let's see what he does with Ten Hag. I feel like Ten Hag is a really, really great coach at the moment. And I feel like he can progress. And I feel like, for me, I don't really want to see him go to another English club. I'd rather see him go to PSG or Barcelona, Real Madrid, that kind of thing. And I want to see him win a trophy, be big somewhere else in Europe, but not in England. I'm sorry, I can't. It'll just hurt.
Okay. Well, my take on this is, first of all, that comment there about he needs to concentrate. Look, it's so hard when people don't. When you're not in it, you feel like that's the case. But when you're a football player, you come home when you finish training, and you've got the whole day ahead of you. Like, you still got things to do. You got other things to think about. You can have fun. You don't have to concentrate on football all day. You've come home. You let that that stays there then. So for me, I think that's a bit unfair. He's doing a lot of good, like you were saying, and like I say, it's something else. It's something on the field which has got into his mind. If something's happened to his mind. But one thing I do know is when he's been at his best, he's looked very, very good and just short of world class for me when he's at his very best. And when he first come to the club, he was up front. He was causing danger. He was so dangerous with his pace as a last man, because all you need to do there is create a bit of space and get a shot. And he's got a great way of doing that, creating space. Imagine that. Remember that goal against PSG, touched it to the side, bang. And the amount of goals he scored against Chelsea, against Arsenal, against Man City, against everybody big, he's got it in him to do that. I don't want to see him on the left. To be honest, he's not, for me, he's not really a dribbler. He's not someone like that. I think he's more of a get the ball, shift it to the side and get yourself a goal. And I don't mind him being the second choice and having Ten Hag showing him what he needs to do up there. Because I don't think he'll have to do a lot of holding up play. I don't think he'll have to do a lot of winning the headers. If we're going to play some intricate football, it's going to be round the corner. The stuff that we saw when it was Rashford and Martial linking up, tap, tap, round the corner to each other, get it back. That's what you want to see, but with a bit more structure to it, with all the other players who can actually do it. Imagine De Jong comes and Van der Beek, them kind of boys who can flick it round the corners. I think a lot of things will change. And that's why I'll give him one more year to get his form back and to get back on it. So that's that for me. Next,
Dave, if you're taking one of them, Martial or Rashford, which one are you keeping? Martial or Rashford? I think it's Rashford for us three, obviously.
I'm keeping Rashford because his work rate's there. That's something that you can't really do without. You've got to have the work rate. And the amount of games that we've had where Martial just doesn't look interested in terms of chasing lost causes and getting after things. And if it's not going his way, it's like, what can I do? It's not enough. And United need to get away from that now. But at the end of the day, we don't have to choose. Maybe both of them are there, and maybe he can get something out of him as well. I'm actually banking on Ten Hag getting something out of both of them players, because there's players inside them, and if there's intricate football and good football, they're gonna thrive. We've not had that at all at United. We've had good players come to the side and no good football. Sancho's getting hurt from it. Ronaldo's getting hurt from it. Everybody that we've got that are good players are getting hurt because there is no structure. Structure comes, it might totally transform these players, to be fair. But before I carry on, I'm the substitute right now. I'm coming out.
Stop. How's everyone doing? Everyone good?
Good, thanks. We're good, thanks.
Good. Actually, just saying that, just going off of what Nathan said, it's probably a while ago because I was watching it on my phone. Just off the comment on he should concentrate on his football with Rashford. It's such a dated way of thinking because you should think about it the way if you have a day at work, you don't go home and think about work, and if you do, you're probably going to make yourself ill. Like you need some time off. You need to, especially if football is such a high pressure sport. Like the last thing you want is your player taking what's gone on the pitch home and dwelling on it, because there's just going to get into their head and it's going to be a mess. And if anything, that's probably what Rashford's been doing. That's what you don't want him to do. I fully agree with Nathan there. I think there's plenty of life left in Rashford, and after one bad season with everything that he's given Man United so far early on in his career, it's you've got to give him some leeway. Definitely. All right, Paul says the jury's out on Rashford. One bad season. Let's wait for the second bad season. Well, that's what I mean. Like you're second guessing it. Like you don't wait for the second bad season. You hope that he doesn't have another bad season. Like it's one of them. But yeah, I think there's a player in Rashford, and let's see if Eric Ten Hag can get it out of him. Okay, so
got a few more comments on it as well.
We were saying we spend fortunes to watch these players. Nathan, the least Rashi can do is give up last season.
They all gave up though.
I don't think so. I think it's a mental problem. I think it's something where it looks like he gave up, but it's mentally like it was draining for him. I honestly believe that. I can't see him not working hard because he always works hard. He's in the gym. We always see him doing the extra work, and then he's coming in and he's like, it's just all too much. So hopefully he's got away from that now and comes back fresh for the new season.
They all gave up as well, by the way, guys. I think they all gave up, to be honest with you. Yeah.
So Marcel, you feel that Paul's a bit harsh on this one, singling out Rashford there?
A little bit. I mean, he also had a issue with his misses. He just come back from injury. Every single player had a poor run of form. You know,
missed a penalty in the European Championship. That's got to stick in there, ain't it? You know what I mean?
And in Villarreal as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
had a lot of big moments, so he's still building back into form. If that makes sense. I like everyone's been saying, there is a player there in him. If the right offer comes in, I would sell up though for sure, but maybe too harsh. I want Ten Hag needs these players on his side firstly, so he's gonna want to look at certain players and say, look, you're part of my plans, and I think Rashford's going to be one of the first ones on the list.
All right. So, do you feel like they should keep both Rashford and Martial and give him an opportunity? Oh, Marcel, I'm sorry, I'm going back to you. I'm going to go to everyone else. This is not the Marcel show, but he's there was a lot of passion in that shake of the head.
Yeah, none of us will.
No way. I mean, because like Paul James has said, these players have been here for a very long time. Yeah. So we know that they have the tendency of giving up on managers. We know that they have the tendency of underperforming. I'm only going to give one of the two out of chance. Martial went out to Sevilla, to get game time, and they don't even want him. He couldn't look after his body, because your body's part of your responsibility as well. It's your tools at the end of the day. He didn't look after your body for whatever reason, got your injury, which is unfortunate, but he wasn't performing. He wasn't ripping up trees out there. When he's had his opportunities here, he hasn't been ripping up trees.
You know, what they said about it. He hasn't got the fire in his belly. That's just too much. When someone says that, you can't be playing for Man United.
Yeah.
Like his stats were awful as well. 1 goal in 13 games, I think. No assists. You know what I mean? Like literally, he was not a good player for them at all out there, Martial. So. He really didn't, like you say. He did not impress.
To move on from Martial and bring in someone different, so a bit more hunger.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let him go until we bring in someone, because we ain't even got no option. So
that's true as well.
All right. It's time to move on from Martial, but who could they potentially be bringing in? One player that Manchester United have been linked with is Ibrahim Sanage of PSV. Formerly of Toulouse, very, very good defensive midfielder. I know, Garth, you've had a little look at him. What's explain to the viewers what to expect from this defensive midfield?
Yeah, I mean, he's a special. We were talking about this. He's a specialist DM, Sangara, like 100% specialist DM. 24, Ivory Coast international. Let's hope he ain't spoken to Bailly about how he got treated at Man United. Otherwise, he ain't coming. Going for 31 mil, which is the bonus, I think. Like, these are the sort of players we need to be looking at this price range. For a DM tall fella, used to be a centre back, 6'3", he's an out and out destroyer. There's no two ways about it. Dominant in the air, like good with the ball at his feet. His short range passing is decent, so that'll impress Ten Hag. But his long range passing is not up to scratch for what I've seen Ten Hag play. To be fair, you ain't going to see him pinging them balls out to the flanks, if you know what I mean. But there isn't much wrong with him. Discipline, bit rash on challenges when he's on a yellow card, but he's a DM, you know what I mean? He reminds me of a cross, when I was doing it, he reminds me of a cross of like a De Jong, like, but with a bit of Michael Essien in him. Like, he's got a bit of calmness to him. He's got that De Jong fire in his belly, like Nigel De Jong, the old Dutch midfielder, that fire in his belly. You might see a chest high studs up challenge once every season or so, you know what I mean? Yeah. But apart from that, no, he looks decent. The only thing I've got against it is we let Kamara go. He's a very similar player, I think, and we could have got Kamara in on a free. But if this is what Ten Hag wants, I'm sticking with what I said to begin with. He should go for what he wants, and we should back him. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. No, is it about time Man United got a specialist in that position rather than just getting maybe an all-rounder or putting someone in there?
Look, you know, I remember like towards the end of Jose's time, Carrick was still old. And every time he came in, he shored up our team. We looked so solid when he was in there, no matter even if he played at the back, because of his ability to like play the ball through the lines and his ability to just dictate the game. When he came out the side, there was no one that was as good as him, and it really stuck out like a sore thumb. And we haven't been able to replace him with anyone yet. So there's not too many of them type of players around that are that good. But end of the day, we need to get someone in there that can do that job. Now, if this is the guy, I've not seen him play at all, so I can't say a word about him. But if he's a central defensive midfielder and Ten Hag thinks he can fit, I'll actually back Ten Hag to go and bring him in. Whoever it is that he thinks can fit. He's done a good enough job with players who we don't really know much about, and then they come in good. He's done enough times with a lot of players at Ajax, recycled when they've sold players and brought people in again to just go and dominate. So, look, if we are interested, I'm happy.
All right. Alex, when was the last time you saw a Manchester United midfielder, a Boscher type defensive midfielder that you felt safe with?
My goodness.
Rakeen. That's a long time ago.
2006, that geezer left.
2008, 2009. I mean, it's been many, many years. So yeah, we're obviously crying out for one. I think the thing is always like, and you know, when you speak to other football fans who most predominantly watch the Premier League, I think when you hear about, especially like with the Dutch league, you feel a bit worried because you're like, is it going to work? Is it going to work? But I just feel like we can't always have that attitude all the time, because there's so many times when players have been bought from certain places and they've come along and they've just been incredible. And I know that we've talked previously about we need elite players, we're an elite club, but unfortunately, that's just not going to happen right now for us. So we need like the next best thing. And I guess, you know, PSV and Ajax have been going to battle for a few years now. So I think Ten Hag's aware of like who he thinks is good. And he probably was eyeing him up and thinking, yeah, do you know what? I'd love you at Ajax. But now he's got an even better position, a better place for him to be. So it's in Eric Ten Hag we trust. That's what I keep saying. So I have to just have faith in the manager. I feel like looking at his stats as well, like he's got some really good like rankings and numbers for his like tackles and his aerial duels, as Garth was saying as well. So those things are really impressive. But my only thing is as well that worries me, is he going to be like an Aaron Wan-Bissaka type where, you know, yeah, he's good one-on-one, he can defend, but then there's times when you're like, oh, or is he going to be like a McTominay? And I just want a clean tackler. And I know that's difficult at times, especially in that position. But that is my biggest worry. But I like the price. I think, like Garth said, that 31 mil, that's the type of player and the type of price that we need. Hopefully the wages as well, he's not going to want too much, because honestly, we need to get out of this reputation of paying players the most money. So yeah, I like the sound of him.
Marcel, happy for Ten Hag to bring in players from these little leagues like the Dutch league. It's funny. The thing is, I say that, yeah, but it's because Alex is right. People in England are such snobs when it comes to other leagues. Yeah, we will gas about players like Mbappe, who was only ever played in the French league. De Jong, who you're trying to buy, he came from the Dutch league. He's gone straight into Barcelona's first team. All these players that come from the top clubs, they come from these leagues. So I don't understand why we're so snobby about it. It doesn't make sense. Sorry, Marcel.
Hopefully it is savvy business. We've got to like wait and see now. You know, the window hasn't even opened yet, so we've got to wait and see what kind of is available to us in the market. But we need a specialist six. It's like one of the most important things on top of the priority list. So even though we're going in for Frankie de Jong, who I think is important and might be the six, I don't think he's a specialist six though, an out and out destroyer type.
No.
And I think that's very important for our league. You know, we know that this, and I think that's why everyone's so snobby, or you know, we are kind of entitlement, because it's a very physical league, it's a high paced league. A lot of other leagues don't have, you know, it's so even, like the level of competition is so much higher here and more intense. So with that being said, we know that we're going to need a destroyer, somebody clever at the anticipation and the interceptions. So as long as we can get that accompanied with Frankie de Jong, I think that would be a good midfield. So hopefully it's a good price as well.
Yeah, Nath, on what Marcel said, you feel the need to get a defensive midfielder and a De Jong type player. So you want two midfielders coming in this window?
Yeah, I do. I think De Jong would probably be more the 8, wouldn't he? And then you've got Van der Beek and Bruno in the 10 kind of areas. So yeah, you do want to have those two places really boxed off, and then you know you've got a proper spine to the side as well. Everything, like you can go through each third of the pitch, knowing that everyone's calm on the ball, press resistant, and that's what you need at United. Just the one thing we don't have at all. We are not press resistant at all. Everyone can go, yeah, let's just press them. Every team in the league, let's just press them. They'll give us the ball back. That's never happened before. And when, you know, all my years growing up watching United, no one ever said that about us. And no one ever able to come to Old Trafford and say, yeah, we're going to win today. Like, easy, yeah, we're going to win, yeah. Like, everybody is like, no. So, yeah, we definitely need to have quality in the middle along the spine. And that's definitely something we need. Obviously, we're not going to get too many now because he's going Real Madrid. But, yeah, we're going to have to look for the next best thing. But I'm sure there's enough players out there. At the end of the day, there'll be, you know, most teams have players in that position that are set now. So now the next one may be for us. So we'll see.
No, just on Tushimani, that's too rich for our blood. This is definitely the sort of player, price range, exactly what Alex was saying, wage structure that we should be looking at. He's a 100% specialised 6. Like, De Jong can't play that. He's not a specialised 6. He's a complete midfielder. He, in all honesty, is the best out there that I can see at the moment with his stats, with everything he's got. The only problem that I can see is a slight bit of discipline, and his long range passing. He is a far superior player to Scott McTominay. Far superior.
I was just about to ask that. I was about to say, what does this mean for Scott McTominay? Because it would be his position that he'd be taking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as long, obviously, this is all hypothetical, but if he played anything like he's played for PSV, he supplants Scott McTominay immediately. Immediately, straight away.
I would hope so.
Yeah, just straight away. And Scott McTominay becomes, like I was saying, like, you don't sell Scott McTominay. He's your Darren Fletcher, isn't he? You know what I mean? And then he's got to try and become as good as Darren Fletcher was for us, instead of being played week in, week out and having no competition. You know what I mean? There's never going to breed success in a player. So, out and out.
Guys, quickly, Kieran, do you guys think Scott could play as a centre-back? I've been thinking about this for a little while. Do you think
he does for Scotland, don't he?
Yeah, Scotland already plays there. Do you think is something that he could grow into as he gets a bit more mature, or no way?
I think he's probably better there. He's got the tools for that. That's the kind of things that he's good at, like just, you know, playing the ball
simple
out. Yeah, and just winning the ball and just playing it somewhere. I don't know if he can obviously get positional sense good enough to be able to handle the sharp strikers, but I'd like to see, rather than him playing in middle, because that just kills us. I think it kills us him in the middle, because you know what it's missing, right? It's massively, when you watch him, you just can see that he's only got one tool to be able to use, and it kills you, because you need them little balls around the corners, and he hasn't got that.
What would he bring as a centre back though? What attributes would he bring as a centre back from what you've seen as a midfielder?
Who wants to answer that?
I'm sure he'd be fourth choice centre back at Man United, or fifth choice centre back at Man United if we were to move back there. I'm not saying he can't play there, but I don't see anything that suggests, even for Scotland, that he'd be at 25, 26 as well, he can't learn to become a Premier League centre back at this age, in my opinion. So yeah, he'd be below Phil Jones if we still got Phil Jones in our team. I'm not saying he can't play there, but I don't think he brings much at all to that position for us at all.
Watching in the Euro, was it the Euros? He did all right there. He did okay there, to be fair. Who did they play against? They played a good side as well.
Yeah, England.
Yeah, didn't they play Croatia as well or something?
Yeah.
Didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
They did. They were actually unlucky not to get through. Yeah.
So,
And I think Kieran Tierney played centre back as well.
Paul Pogba looked like the best player in the world every time he played for France. You know what I mean? Like, international duty isn't the Premier League. I'm sorry, it just ain't.
But defending wise, it's a different thing as well. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how that is. But he's got good stature about him. He's strong, so he doesn't get beaten like and bodily get. He never gets beaten. He never gets bodied out of the way. He's always bodying everybody on the floor. So that's something he's really good at, and he's good in the challenge. If it's a challenge him versus someone, I expect him to win it. And then he just can play a simple ball. So for me, he's good in the air as well. So they're kind of the attributes you need for a centre-back. End of the day, it might be a makeshift like Carrick did. Carrick was good at the back. He did all right. And he's not even that quick. It's just because he had the knowledge up there. Maybe he doesn't have that kind of knowledge. But end of the day, I'd put him there and try him while we ain't got a good enough defender. Obviously, I'm still buying the centre-back. I'm not trying to say let's play him there.
Yeah, I mean... Go on.
I just can't see it. I don't know whether this is like honestly, he'd be so low down. He'd be below Maguire, below Jones, Bailly, Lindelof. Like maybe he could do a job there, but there's no reason for us to put him there. If that makes sense.
Would he be any higher in the? How much higher would he be in the midfield? Like
that's what I reckon he'd be. He's back up. He's back up to our number 6. He's the number 6. That's what I'm saying. Much better as our backup centre midfielder than our 6th choice centre back. I'm sure he can do a job there, but
he's now
not a good one.
he started as 4th. He's now 6th.
That's what I'm going through the list, mate. If we buy a centre back as well, Varane, like he's not getting in front of any of them. He's not as a centre back, in my opinion. But you know what I mean. It's all opinions.
All right. What's Stratford Sean saying? Alex, would you take a Phillips? Not that Phillips could join Man United ever. Like he'd have to be escorted everywhere.
I said,
Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
No. I think
I don't.
Yeah, like for me, no. I just don't. I'm not interested in Calvin Phillips. Not in a bad way, but just like I just don't see how it could work. Honestly, not just because of the Leeds thing, but just because of him as a player. Like I'd rather have Declan Rice over Calvin Phillips for me personally.
100%.
Not feeling Calvin Phillips, Nathan.
No, I just think we need a bit more. To be fair, I just think we need a bit more to be able to carry us. I want someone to come in there and show us what to do. It's like they have to be way better. I don't know. It's weird. He's not a bad player. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I just feel like we need someone who's coming in and who's gonna like lead us. And I feel like he'll come in and integrate rather than come in and lead. Like, yeah, listen, you guys, follow me. I don't think he's that kind of player. De Jong will be, even though he's not going to be the 6th. But that's the kind of player we need. Someone who's going to lead and be better, and even better, like, vocally. And you know what I mean? Like, come in and just straight away realize that they're supposed to be here and they're ahead of the other boys. Not like, for example, Cristiano comes in and Maguire feels inferior because Cristiano's there. Oh, should I really be the captain? That kind of feeling, you don't want an inferiority complex with any players coming in. They want to come in and hit the ground running and know that they should be there and should be playing ahead of whoever was there before.
Yeah. Fair point. Phillips, Garth?
Yeah, I'm obviously playing devil's advocate tonight because I'd take Phillips in a heartbeat. I mean, I know Alex just said Declan Rice. Yeah, we all want Declan Rice. That's 150 mil. He's off the table. That geezer's off the table.
Yeah,
so we've got to look at
cheaper.
cheaper.
On anyone's table.
No, that's on no one's radar. 150 mil. Even he isn't worth that. But 50 mil, I'm hearing 47, 50 mil. I'm hearing Man City are interested in him as well. And he's a great number 6 in my opinion. Like a quality Bosching destroyer midfielder with a great pass on him. And that's for you saying you couldn't go anywhere, mate. We took Rio. We took Alan Smith. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we took Cantona.
No,
we took them all before, mate.
No, I'm getting involved here. Cantona was French. Yeah. Rio Ferdinand was from London, and even he got told not to come back for a year. He said he got told not to come back to Leeds for a year. Like, how long do you think?
Weren't Alan Smith born and bred Leeds?
How long do you think it was until Alan Smith, until his whole Man United career, until he actually went back into Leeds? Did you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But no, back to Phillips. I think he's a quality player, solid in England international, and not only that, he may improve Maguire's game. Because Maguire he knows Maguire, he knows what he's got to do for Maguire for the England squad. But I like Phillips a lot, I really do. But I would definitely stick with Sangara over him all day long. But I would take Phillips, I really would, 100%.
But also, Sangara, he is a United fan, so I'd take him over Phillips every day because that says to me.
Yeah, that's what I'd take Sangara all day over him. Yeah,
definitely.
Fan. Marcel?
Yeah, I agree with everyone here on the panel. I mean, he's a destroyer type and he's quite energetic, but we've already got two high energy players in Scott and Fred already. Mm-hmm. They're not as similar to him because he can play the 6, whereas they kind of a bit struggle there. They're more of 8s. Mm-hmm. But, like we've been saying, there's better players in the market, I think, right now to bring in. We could have got Kamara, who was a better...
Should have,
yeah. He was a much better fit for me. Sangari as well, like everyone's saying. The build, the price, it's much better.
Yeah, and it's going to take a hell of a lot to get Calvin.
And we ain't got to pay English tax for Sangara either, like we'll have to do for Phillips. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Next up, Josko Gvardiol, Croatian international, RB Leipzig. I'm seeing a lot of nodding. Do you know what? I know Garth's done his thing, but Nathan, your face. Tell me about it. Tell me what you're thinking on this player.
Look, the minute I saw the name, I was like, who the hell's this? Let me have a look. Let me see what's going on. Let me do some research here. So I went on and watched, I like to watch players and just like see exactly what they're about and what they're good at. And he looked very good, to be fair. I can tell a player, I try and feel like I can tell a player when I see one. And he's very good with the press. Like, he's right up your back. He's winning challenges. And then I'm watching who he's actually playing against. And I'm like, okay, he's doing it against the big boys, one-on-one. Getting in good positions. A great positional play, great energy going forward. He's even good control, good composure on the ball in front of goal as well. So he looks like he's got a lot to his game. Good slide tackling timing as well. He just looks like a proper fullback that you need. And we know about IB Leipzig anyway. We got whooped by them in the Champions League. What's the Champions League, wasn't it? Yeah, we got whooped by them the second game when we played them. Obviously, when Rashford scored that hat-trick after coming on off the bench, but then I'm not even sure if he's even part of that side. But all I know is he is a good player from what I've seen. I've not seen everything, but he looks like a player that I would take a chance on just from looking at the highlights. So yeah, I'm quite excited about if it starts materializing. I'll be quite excited him coming in. It looks like he could also might even be able to play right back or left back, from the looks of it. So yeah, he looks good from first impressions, and I'd like to see some more. So I'm going to watch some more videos somewhere.
Right. So this kid was in the Guardian 2019 Guardian Top 60, along with players such as Camavinga, Adam Holzek, the Taylor Harwood, Bellis, like the names that this kid has been alongside of over the last few years is top names. He's very highly regarded. In fact, his nickname is Pep. This kid is a serious talent. Garth, you've had a look at him. You're very impressed with him. What's your thoughts?
Well impressed with him. His main position is centre back. He plays left back and right back as well. And on a side note, this is what I've noticed, a common theme with Ten Hag's players he's trying to sign. They can play a number of positions. That Sangara can play defensive midfielder, centre back, centre midfielder. This Gvardiol can play centre back, left back, like they've said, maybe right back as well. Like, he's looking for players. Timber can play centre back, defensive midfielder, right back. Like, he's looking for players that he can play in his system where their positions changes on the field depending what stage of attack or defence we're in. But for me, this kid, I only found out about him yesterday, I won't lie. This kid has shot to my number one centre back target without a shadow of a doubt. This kid, like Kieran, you asked, Kieran asked me. Kieran asked me to try and compare.
I love it.
Yeah, Kieran tried to ask me to compare him to someone, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, he's like a cross between a Desai and a Nesta. Like from what I see, it's all potential. He's 20 years old. Excellent. His stats in progressive passes and carries are unmatched for a centre back in the German league. 5.5 progressive passes per 90, 5.5 progressive carries per 90. His pace is ridiculous. He can cover ground and like it close down space and opponents so fast. It's unbelievable. Couple of problems with him. He only moved to Leipzig this season. That can always be a stumbling block. Obviously, he's got a contract, and he usually plays in a back three, like proper back three. I know Ten Hag moves it into a back three when he moves his left back up, but yeah, straight to the top of the list for me. He really is. It's just from what I've seen, which is a few clips and what I've read about him. Everyone is raving about him. Everyone for a 20-year-old. Like Kieran's saying, he's in the list. He's been named along these kids that are all going to be the world stars. He's Croatia's next big star. I believe I read no one in the Bundesliga played more under 21 played more minutes than him this season. He's already established himself as Croatia and Leipzig's like main player. The sky's the limit if he fulfills his potential. It really is. You know what I mean? He's got like I say, he's got the strength and pace of a Desailly, but he's got the passing and like the ball carrying of like a Ferdinand or a PK. He's well good. So sky's the limit for him, in my opinion. Sky's the limit. Sold. He's sold me, yeah. Hook, line, and sinker.
Sounds decent. So after that breakdown, what's your thoughts on the player?
Buy him tomorrow. The price in right now. I mean, no, 100% right in a lot of what he's saying in terms of the ball carrying, anticipation, interceptions. Can play. I think he's left-footed. Can play predominantly in the left back area and on the right back and in the centre back. So exactly what Garth's saying. And that's what you're going to need, a player that can play in multiple positions. I think he ticks a lot of boxes as well. He's young. I don't know what the price point would be. This would be really interesting to know how much it would cost to maybe bring him to Manchester. But a good player for sure. I think someone that we should be looking at, and 100% agree with Garth in terms of, someone that we need to be looking at in terms of, an astute signing in terms of price and name and reputation, but has a lot of bags and bags of upside and potential.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he has definitely got plenty of that. And as you said, a player who can play in multiple positions. And I just want
to get that position thing out there. He's only played left back like 5 or 6 times this season. He's mainly a centre back. He's not a full back. He is mainly a centre back. So that's what I mean about him.
If Ten Hag plays that free, then you've got. Let's just say you start him at left back, and then it moves into that. Do you know what I mean? Depending on
he's a left-footed. No, I mean he's a left-footed centre back. That's what I'd have him as all day. That's what I mean. He would come. At the moment, I'd take him over Timber as a centre back because of Timber's height all day long, every day of the week, and I'd play Timber like you're saying on the right back position. Yeah, if we're going to do that.
Yeah, it does sound like Timber is going to be brought in for that right back. As you said, he's not got the height and possibly the physicality for the Premier League. Alex, just Gvardiol sound like the right kind of player for Man United to bring in?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I watched Bundesliga and I've seen him play. I haven't paid like as much attention as I have to like players like Florian Wirtz, who I love. Like they're the youngsters that I love, and I love Jude Bellingham. But I think when you watch him, he's definitely solid. He's definitely somebody that you feel like he would be in control. And at that young age, it is astounding to me how good he is already. So I would be happy and more than willing to pay that. Like it's like literally 90 mil or something like that to pay that price tag. I'd say break the bank and pay it. I'd rather him over Nunez. I know you might talk about that later, but yeah, I prefer to pay that money for a really good centre back than for a striker. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean he's currently valued at 31 million on transfermarket.com, but that means you're probably going to double that because it's United.
90 mil. The 90 mil might change my mind a little bit now. You know what I mean? Let's go back and talk about Timber. Let's talk about Timber again at 31.
Maybe not as short as I thought.
Put him on stilts, mate. Get the old Tom Cruise shoes on him. You know what I mean? Give him a couple of extra inches.
He's 5'10". Yeah,
exactly. 5'10". That's the new 6 foot.
He ain't 5. That's what everyone says. He's 5'9" at a push, Timber. He keeps everywhere you look. It's just under 5'10". He is, Sir Timber. So.
All right. And the big one, the main question of the day: has the lack of Champions League football had any sort of bearing on Man United in this transfer window? I know it's not even started yet, but we're seeing players potentially be linked with Man United. It looks like there could be some movement in it, and it's a little bit standoffish. Nathan, do you feel like the lack of Champions League has impacted Man United in the transfer market?
Well, the window hasn't opened yet, so we won't know until then. But we definitely do know it's going to have an effect on players coming or not. If another team's wanting them and they're in the Champions League and they need Champions League and want it, unless they buy into the project of the fact that, you know what, I might not be in it now, but it's Man United. It's a project where I will go in and I'm playing. So it depends what player we want and what that player is going to go to, what options he has. Like, let's say you're going to Liverpool and there's no spot for them starting. He might go, you know what, it's Champions League, but I'm not going to be starting every week. I'm Man United. I might be starting every week, and I'm going to be part of a project that gets in the Champions League, and I'm going to be playing every week next year from Champions League. So it all depends on the type of player that's coming in and what position and what the manager wants for him. So it definitely is going to play its part, definitely going to make a difference in who we get. But like I say, there should be enough players that there's still some quality players out there that are available for us to be able to take on. We just need to choose the right person. But we don't want to get established players anyway, because there'll be too much money. We want to get someone who's just coming up and got bags of potential, and that he knows, right, he'll do for me. He's got those attributes that I want in my team. Right, no one's seen enough of him yet that they want to spend too much. Right, let's get him. And that's the people that we need. And at the end of the day, that's what United need to look at anyway. So to be fair, we're not looking to go down Champions League proven players. That's going to be 80, 90 million. It'd be just too much for us. And we've got too many positions to cover for this season and beyond. So, it will make its difference, but I think it'll be fine.
All right. Garth, do you think it's going to have a major impact in the transfer market?
Yeah, massive impact for us. I'm a very pessimistic man, but you're already seeing it. Every time we're linked with a player, it comes with a caveat, but he wants Champions League football. Not just the Champions League football, our club's a mess. Anyone thinking about coming Man United at the moment is taking a gamble. It's a gamble. We've got a brand new manager with a squad that's falling apart. We've got to get an all new players. It's a gamble. They're really taking their careers into their hands by coming to Man United. We are not Man United of 10 years ago anymore. We're just not. Like Nathan's saying, I don't even think that we should be shopping for these players at the moment. I personally think we should do what Arsenal did last year: get Frankie de Jong if we can get him, and then spend the rest of the money on 5 or 6 squad players with the potential to really improve. I mean, I didn't realise that Gvardiol was going to be 90 mil, so maybe get him in, which is one big transfer, and then spend the rest on squad build. But I think we've got problems. I really do. Like Frankie de Jong. It's 4 weeks ago that we said that we were going to sign him. The rumours started. No movement. Yeah, I know the transfer window hasn't opened yet, but everyone's making moves at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, everyone is making moves at the moment. And if Liverpool come in for it for like Nunez, he's going to Liverpool. He's already said it. He's treating us like a backup team. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we can't have those players. We need players who, like what Nathan was saying, who actually want to come in for the challenge. And they ain't going to be these big star players. So yeah, I think it's going to cost us. I mean, it cost Arsenal. Look at the players you've been having to side. You know what I mean? It costs teams of our size if you're not in the Champions League. In the long run, like, we're not even guaranteed Champions League football next year. How many points off Champions League were we this year? Loads. You know what I mean? Like, it's a massive gap to bridge. New manager. Yeah, I think a lot of players, we're not an attractive option for a lot of players, apart from the ones who want to come for the dollar. And that's, you know what I mean? And that's a different matter entirely. And I don't want them mercenaries at Man United any longer. So big problems, I think.
Right, Marcel. Champions League going to impact Man United in a bad way, or do you think it's not too much of a worry?
Well, I'd like to think that's not too much of a worry, but it's showing dividend that it is for sure. I think. Well, we've got a manager with pulling power in terms of the Dutch players. People that know him. I mean, the reason why we're linked to so many Dutch players is because of that Ten Hag link. You know, any player that's outside of that link, you know, we're second, third choice. You know, for the last 5-6 years, the 2 leading clubs, you know, in the Premier League have been City and Liverpool. So, you know, with that being said, we're not really the main choice if you're a player coming outside the league and you want to play exciting football. But we have that link now. And that trust. You know, I think Donny's going to get more minutes. I think Frankie de Jong, if he comes, it's that project that he knows the manager. Same for Timber. He knows the manager and that trust from the manager. So hopefully that, and Ten Hag believes that we're getting Champions League next season. He's I'm sure he would have convinced Frankie and said it's only going to be one season. Mm-hmm. It's one season and we're back into the big time. So it's definitely going to be a difficult thing though to balance, Kieran. I think you guys have seen that yourselves. Arsenal Football Club has seen that. They've had to buy a load of youth players. They've had to go a different route. The big signings, the big, luxury players, they haven't been able to perform. So I feel like we're in the same kind of story arc, just a few stages behind Arsenal.
Do you feel that you have the youngsters coming through that have that talent and hunger that's that foundation?
Yeah, well, that's the foundation of the club. And yes, we do, but they're a few stages behind. So Hannibal's maybe 1 or 2 seasons. Garnacho's maybe 2 seasons. Ahmad needs to fill out more. He was in the Champions League, very technical footballer, but needs to fill out a bit more. I said Mason Greenwood at the beginning of the season needed to fill out more, has his own personal issues. Can't really speak about him, and we don't know what's going to happen with him, but another good young player. Fernandez hasn't really played enough minutes. Fantastic fullback, though. So, and Brandon Williams maybe is not the level, unfortunately. So we've got a few there. James Garner as well needs another season in the Premier League, see how he fares. They're all maybe 2 or so seasons off. And that's why, you're either looking at a little bit into the market first, second pro contract at 20 to 23, or you're looking at the finished article that can carry the burden until the younger ones come in, like a Kante, 30 plus, 31, 32. So it's difficult.
Yeah, no, it is. Alex, is it going to impact Man United that much? Do they need to go out and buy these Champions League ready players, or as Garth said, do you need to start looking at that maybe tier below for players who are not quite there, but they've got that potential?
So I've just been thinking about this. Like, it's really difficult because you think about United and their reputation, and I feel like their reputation is just like so far down. I think this season, a couple of seasons, like they've just been eroding. So I think potentially players talk, and the training facilities, we talk about the backroom staff, like we talk about Old Trafford and how dilapidated it is and how it needs to be. You're looking around, and I think these younger players, they're looking at the Etihad, they're looking even at the Emirates. Some of them are thinking, wow, look at these stadiums, looking at Spurs' new stadium, and they're like, oh, don't want to play at this old place. So it's kind of all of those things I feel like factor in. And I think, okay, for younger players, the Champions League is the biggest competition. So they're obviously going to want to play that as well. But it's just everything. And I even feel like even our youth squad, I don't even think that they're going to be good enough, or I just have that feeling. I just don't feel like the coaching and the training has been there and it's been decent enough. I know they've just won an FA Cup, and I'm trying to find the positivity here, but I feel like all of those factors are what is not what's going to drive people to United. I think people have to, it's either going to be the money or it's going to be an absolute passion to feel like they're going to play in a team that's top 6 or they're going to get top 4, because I just feel like, why would anyone want to play for them regardless if they're playing Champions League or not? It's like, that's just where my feelings are at the moment with this team.
Yeah.
No, can I just touch on the youth players as well? Like Marcel was saying, these FA Youth Cup winning players, they're 17, 18. They're not.
I was just about to say. I was about to say that was the under 18s, wasn't it?
Yeah, the under 18s.
So going off of what Marcel's saying, they're maybe 2 years behind. I think the difference in Arsenal, a difference in even like a Leeds, is Arsenal were kind of forced into it. They were forced into it because one, Bukayo Saka had so much talent and they needed someone to fill in at left back and then play on the right wing. And then he held down his spot. Emil Smith-Rowe was a player who was brought in because the manager had an option. There's always an option, but his option was Willian or Emil Smith-Rowe, and Willian wasn't happening. So he had to bring in Emil Smith-Rowe. And then Emil Smith-Rowe held down his spot. So I think it's kind of a different situation. And I think you're right. It's a couple of years behind. But how do they fill that gap? And how do they make sure that those players are also progressing as well and you continue with those development?
Well, that's the problem with Garnacho. His contract's up, isn't it, next year? And he hasn't, like, rumours are now coming out, the players are sniffing, teams are sniffing around him. The thing is, what I was about to say is that we've got to look at the generation before them, the 20-year-olds that are out on loan right now, the Lards, the Dallows, the Palestris, the Garners, the Livettes. We can't be looking at the Garnachos, the Shoretires, the Hannibals to save us. But we can't. It's got to be the Alangas and that. The couple of years, the under 23, shall we say, of Man United. If we're going to bring up the youth players. So yeah, but I was also going to say, look, there's the other thing. The difference between us and Arsenal is we've got world superstars as well. We've got a Sancho, we've got a Ronaldo, we've got a Varane. Like we have got them big Champions League players in our team already. Like so, there is slightly difference there. I think we're not as far behind as Arsenal were, if that makes sense. We've already got a nice solid base there. We just need to fill out a few key positions with players and then build the squad around it. Is what I think.
That's fair. Nathan, is it essential that Man United get straight back into the Champions League next season?
Of course, you can't be out of Champions League too long. Otherwise, you just become one of those teams that definitely nobody wants to come to. That's at them levels that that we want. So it's essential that we get back in there. And I don't think we're too far away from it. I think it's a few pieces to a puzzle. Once you've got them vital pieces, it makes everything else work and everything tick. So we did see a team that was very bad. But like I say, it's not far off being very good. We were second last year with the same squad, and then a few little changes, and we're looking so bad. Get some structure to the side, get a spine, get these few players. I can see us getting the centre back. If we brought in, for example, I would say if we brought in De Jong, we got a central defensive midfielder in, and the Timber, and we had Anthony, for example, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. Just that, I think we'll be getting in Champions League. It would be obviously one short of a striker that would need, but I'd be hoping that Rashford will come good with that. So I think that would make a massive, massive difference. And that's 4 players. Okay, not too many.
I was going to ask you earlier, Nathan.
On your budget,
if we kept Rashford and Martial, and we're playing him through the centre, does that mean you're not looking for a striker this transfer window? There is no striker coming in because we've got them 2 playing there, plus a Charlie McNeil, if you will, bring him up.
Yeah, I'm not looking to bring in any other striker when these other positions need filling, and I know it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be like 20 million for all them players. Then it is, and you can get a striker. But you're looking at 6 million for De Jong. You're probably looking at 30 million for Timber. Then you're looking at a central defensive midfielder who's going to be 30, 40. So, and then Anthony might be 50, 60. So that's most of the budget. I don't want to just go and get any striker. And we're going to be talking about the guy who had. I got comments on anyway, so I won't say anything yet until then.
Liverpool bound, yeah.
Have we not gone on to Nunez?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's get on to that now before time is up. Darwin Nunez agreed personal terms with Liverpool. Nathan,
over the moon. I don't know if you see my messages in the group earlier in the week. I'm over the moon. We've dodged a bullet there. You know when players are linked with another club, and then United come in and try and steal them. Yeah, this is the one that I hope we just don't get, because I've looked at his highlights and I try and look at the strikers. I know what strikers are about, and to be fair, he scored a lot of goals this year, but he's outdone his XG by miles, and that never
still
really
quite raw.
Fun.
Still quite raw. But
number two is I don't see any real precision finishing. Number one. His hold-up play is worse than Bruno. So I'm not happy. I'm not happy with a striker who's going to do that. So imagine having Bruno and him in your side and losing the ball all the time. You can't. It doesn't even win many headers, and he's quite tall. So for me, I don't really like what I'm seeing, and I don't think he's a United player right now. So he might be, I don't know what he will be, in a few years to come. But to be honest, I don't like what I see, and when you see people scoring lots of goals, it doesn't always mean you're a good striker. Like, you might score and have a good season. I know plenty of players that I've played with who are just not that good. They score because they're strikers and they're in a good position. But then when it comes to the games where you really need to score, they're not going to be able to do the job. So what did we have with Lukaku? We like him. We think he's good. But he's just short of world class. And then when United really need him in them games where you need them world-class things, something out of nothing, he didn't really have that. That's why everyone didn't really like Lukaku, and he did the same at Chelsea. And then when it comes to Darwin, I don't think he's even anywhere near that, to be honest. So for me, from what I've seen so far, it might change my mind. This is just my mindset right now. I don't want to see him coming to United, especially for 100 million, and then we got not much money to get the rest of the players. So leave him out. Let's find someone else. That's me. That's my take on this.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
No,
mad opinion here. Totally opposite of everyone else.
No, it's not. I agree entirely, mate. Honestly, you couldn't, like, my sentiments couldn't be any more exactly the same as yours, Nathan. Like, at 90 mil, it ain't a gamble worth taking. One good season. Like, yeah, he's only 22, but he only scored 6 goals last season. He scored 26 this season in Portugal. Exactly what it's saying for the Ten Hag system. He's not good at holding up the ball. He's not good at passing. Like, yeah, he may turn into a world-class striker, but with everything we need at the moment, it ain't worth the gamble at all. Not Darwin Nunez, in my opinion. Not in the slightest. I don't like it. I don't like the look of him either. Exactly what they said. I watched him. Nah, go out, like Marcel said last week, and I said a few weeks ago, I'd go and get Ivan Toney or someone, but if we really need a striker that badly. Yeah. But the Darwin Nunez at 90 mil is too rich for our blood. The only reason I want him now is because Liverpool want him. And now I'm like, wow, it's now become tribal, isn't it? You're like, wow, no, then I want him. But no, not at that money. No, it's a gamble. Marcus Stewart scored 30 goals in the Premier League once for Ipswich. No one went and bought him in for 40 mil or anything. So
I think the record price would have been about 15, 20 about.
Yeah, him. To be fair, I was going to say I'm getting older.
Marcus Stewart, not a bad player. Marcel, 80 million too much for Darwin Nunez.
Yeah, way too much when you put into context, our transfer budget. When you put into context, the midfield line is the priority right now. And then after the midfield line is the defensive line. So that's already maybe 4 signings with, in the midfield line 2 and then in the defensive line 2 already. And you're looking at upwards of maybe 120 million if you do it correctly. And we want to spend so much of the budget. Right now, we're haggling for a good price with Barcelona for Frankie de Jong. And he's, in terms of the priority, he's maybe the statement signing. You don't want to be spending more than the statement signing in this particular window. And like Garth has mentioned already, I think, we need to go for a second fiddle kind of striker to Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo's, still going to have high ego, still going to be very confident in his abilities next season in terms of goals. So you're going to have a bagsman there. You just need somebody to play when Ronaldo doesn't want to play in the big game. Well, not in the big game, sorry, but in other games that he just doesn't want to play in. And maybe you have to, he has to do that for maybe a season or 2. I think Ronaldo might even extend on, but yeah, too much, way too much money. We need to be spending maybe 50, 40 million on a striker.
Yeah, no, I agree. Alex, Darwin Nunez, what's your thoughts on Darwin Nunez? 80 million too much for him?
Yeah, I was like, stay far away from that deal. Like, I'm happy for Liverpool. Like, let them do it. I think it's just as well as what everyone else is saying. I think that I'm in 2 minds because I'm thinking João Felix. He went to Atletico Madrid. He's amazing, but he's not doing amazing. He needs time to develop and grow. He's in a new league. So for me, I'm seeing that similar thing with Nunez going to Liverpool. But the difference is that Liverpool have got players that can score. They've got a team. They've got a structure. So in their system, it will work because he can come on, have bit parts here and there. He can grow, develop. He can take his time, and then he can mature into that striker. I think for me, if I'm paying that much money, I want a Haaland. I want an Mbappe. I need a straw in the box. I need someone who's really going to be that machine for us that we need. I feel like that money's better spent in the midfield, like everyone's saying, and in the defense. I feel like it would just be a waste of money. And I'm so glad that we're not going in for him because I thought United were going to come in with like a stupid bid of like 150 million or 130 or something because, they need to have a statement player. So I'm glad that Liverpool are taking him. So, yeah, that's how I feel about him right now.
No, I fully agree. And I think it's crazy how we had the pandemic and the noises that were coming out from a lot of the agents were, I think clubs will be a lot more astute when it comes to making these big signings. They won't take the gamble on the 70 million pound, 80 million pound player unless it's unless they are there, like the Mbappes, if that player who's the 40, 50 mil, if that price is starting to get pushed up like it did before, the clubs will be back off. But it seems like that's not the case. But I'm not 100% sure 80 million is going to be the price. This is Liverpool. When Liverpool, their structure, it'll probably be about 60 mil or something like that. I just don't see 80. Before we go, I do actually have one more question. Each of you, if you could bring in one, Garth mentioned it earlier. He said he'd rather have one big name and then he'd build around it. Nathan, if you could bring in one of them big names, who would you bring in?
De Jong.
All right.
Garth. But is Anthony a big name?
Yeah, and he's a big name, Nathan. You'd carry him here from Amsterdam, wouldn't you? You'd walk out there, put him on your back, and carry him to Manchester, bro.
You need rules, Nate, when it comes to picking players. You need rules, mate.
Is that 60 mil winger a big name?
One of the hottest prospects in yours at the moment. Is he a big name? You do this all the time. Never give Nathan your budget. That's all I'm saying. Go on.
A swap deal with Marshall. in one deal.
Mate, we need you in the boardroom, Nate. We need you in the boardroom, mate.
Go, one player. Who are you bringing in?
I mean, obviously, the problem is it's Frankie de Jong. But this Gvardiol, mate, he's got me at the moment. But at that price, obviously, it has to be Frankie de Jong. I agree with Marcel. I think he's the key to this Man United team now under Ten Hag, Frankie de Jong. So yeah, him, and then some 30 mil players around him for me.
Even then, you're like some 30 mil.
Well, that's what. Yeah, well, 30 mil these days. That is the second-rate player. That's the lower down player, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it ain't not anymore. It ain't.
But you know,
he ain't in Champions League.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. All right, so some 20 mil players around him.
Go on,
this is it. Don't get De Jong. You can't play the football he wants to play. You see what Rangnick's tried to do. He can't get the football out of them because they ain't got the ability. So
yeah.
No, you have to find another. You have to find someone who's can do a little bit of what De Jong, because De Jong's like a complete baller almost, but someone who can do the creative, progressive passing that he can do. Maybe Donny van der Beek, we don't know, you know what I mean? But
yeah, but they
someone
want
who's got
him
that
alongside. I think that's the
problem.
No,
I know, but
who knows his game.
We've had this before. There is no one else in world football, in my opinion, who's like Frankie de Jong. There is no replacement if we can't get Frankie de Jong. There is none. We have to change.
I know one. Who's
yeah, who?
This geezer.
Oh yeah, there we go.
This geezer. I built my whole world around this guy. I'm telling you, please.
Go on, Alex. One player. If you could bring in one player, who would it be?
It'll be him. I tell you, I'm gonna go left field. I say I want us to throw the kitchen, everything out of this guy, but I know he's never gonna leave Bayern right now. But I mean that would be a dream. But out of this lot, I'd say Gvardiol. Yeah, that's probably the one. I love the way that Garth sold him to me now. So yeah.
I've got an old Cortina out. I've got an old Cortina out the front if you want to come round and look at it. You know, I was
gonna say. It's funny you say that though, Alex, because I think at one point Ollie was looking at Kimmich, or we have been linked with Kimmich.
Yeah, no, he was.
Previous time.
He was.
So it's funny you say that, and he's a fabulous player.
Yeah.
He's took off the last couple of years properly though, hasn't he? You know, like he's really accelerated
his central midfield. Yeah.
He's both. Yeah, he plays right back.
Yeah, he's so well versed. He's like a Philip Lahm.
Yeah. Philip Lahm.
Like a regen of Philip Lahm.
Yeah. All day.
All positions. But so I'm gonna say Frankie de Jong firstly as well. You know, for Sarri ball, it was Jorginho was so important, instrumental in it. For Pep has always been talking or raving about Fernandinho and how he frees his game. You know, that's so important. Liverpool have a workman midfield that frees their forward line, their game, so pivotal to their system.
But look at Alcantara this last season. He's come on leaps and bounds. He's so underrated, I think, by a lot of people.
So it's like, that midfield, that six is a very important position. So to be able to free our game and to allow us to play in a certain way that Ten Hag believes we should be playing, it's got to be Frankie de Jong. But if there was a random player, and because I feel like Kimmich it's not a left field kind of thing, but it wouldn't happen point and blank, I would say Jamal Musiala then. For me, if there was a out left wing, random name that I would think I would want if I could get him, bring him into the club, it would be Jamal Musiala, because that guy is way ahead of his time, way ahead of the game. Fabulous player. But if you're talking in just common terms or what we would be able to achieve, it has to be Frankie de Jong. He is the key signing to how we will be able to play our football.
All right. Jamal Musiala.
He's mustard, mate.
Another Chelsea. Another player Chelsea lost out on.
I put Jude Bellingham over him, though. I'm not going to lie, I really do. But anyway,
they used to play in the same team. They used to play in the same team.
Yeah, they did.
Would you bring Bellingham? You wouldn't bring Bellingham in as the 6, though, would you? That's the.
He's a Vieira / Yaya Toure. He's an all-purpose, all-cumbersome 8.
Bellingham's one of my favourite players.
Is Gnabry available? Is he going to Arsenal? Is that something that is Gnabry actually going anywhere?
Let's see where Mane moves.
Yeah, I think it's a domino effect. Gnabry could end up potentially even at Liverpool. He's only got a year left in his contract. I suspect they're probably using Arsenal as a bargaining tool, as a try and get more money out of Bayern Munich or try and get that push to a team, because he's a Champions League player. He's not going to play in the Europa League, no matter his boyhood club. It don't matter. All right. That is all we have time for. Comment section has been absolutely buzzing tonight. Love it. Thank you very much. Make sure you press that subscribe button. If you are watching on Facebook, make sure you come over to KS1 TV and press that subscribe button next time. If you are new to the show, press the subscribe. If you are regular, press that like and share button. All right. Thank you for joining us, everyone, tonight. Thank you for joining us, Nathan.
Thank you. I'm good.
Thank you for joining us, Garth.
Thanks for having me. A great show tonight. Really enjoyed this one.
Thank you for joining us, Alex.
Thanks so much. Can't wait for the next one.
And thank you for joining us, Marcel.
Thank you, guys, man. It was good speaking to you, man.
All right. So the transfer window is not even open yet. United fans are getting twitchy fingers, are getting a bit nervous already. But I'm sure it will be a very good transfer window. Make sure you follow the transfer exchange as well if you want the latest transfer news, and the Man United show on Twitter, because that is where you're going to get the transfer news as well, and opinions on it. All right.
That's at Man United _show, just so everyone knows.
Not just that. No, hold on. Where's it gone? It's gone. Oh, there we go. There we go.
There it is.
There we go. All right. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.